From the desk of Bishop Frank C. Cummings, narrated by Martinique Mix. Psalms 91:16. With long life I will satisfy him and show him my salvation. Bishop Frederick Calhoun James was perhaps one of the greatest leaders of the AME Church when he actively served. His profound political activism served at the forefront of the civil rights movement. Bishop James and his wife were an excellent team and true model for Angel and I. A great communicator, leader, community activist, and true man of God who at every turn and new decade recommitted himself to the work of kingdom building. As a photography enthusiast, he allowed us to journey with him through pictures and books he would publish. On today, we are reminded that he is a living legacy of Richard Allen and Henry McNeil Turner, committed to the AME Church in the liberation of the African American community. He is indeed doing what the scripture says, living a life that is most pleasing to God. Happy 100th birthday, Bishop.
To Bishop Samuel Lawrence Green Sr., the presiding bishop of the 7th Episcopal District of the African Methodist Episcopal Church, and to Mrs. Phyllis N. Green, our Episcopal Supervisor, to clergy and laity alike. I bring greetings on behalf of the Mother Presiding Elder District, the Edisto District of the 7th Episcopal District of the African Methodist Episcopal Church, as we come to acknowledge and to celebrate the 100-year birthday of Bishop Frederick Calhoun James, the Bishop of the African Methodist Episcopal Church. We here on the Edisto District are proud to be a part of this celebration of this gifted teacher, clergy, person, pastor, servant, bishop, civil rights leader, community leader, humanitarian, and philanthropist, a sage of the church, a friend and a brother beloved. So happy birthday, Bishop James. We here on the Edisto District are so proud to have you not only as a native son, but as a model that is exemplary to be followed by many. And for that we say, to God be the glory. As we acknowledge and honor and celebrate the 100th birthday of one Bishop Frederick Calhoun James, the 93rd elected and consecrated bishop in the African Methodist Episcopal Church, we are so thankful that he has given so much on behalf of so many. As a native South Carolinian, I am proud to say that as a boy growing up in South Carolina, we heard the name of Bishop James, who's a noted leader, teacher, professor, civil rights leader, and yes, a homegrown bishop of the African Methodist Episcopal Church. As we gather here today to celebrate the 100-year birthday of Bishop James, we are reminded that he has set an example for many of us to follow as we continue to be a servant leader, both clergy and laity of the church. So we honor and celebrate him today to say, to God be the glory. And to say, in the words of one of the great hymns of the church, my hope is built on nothing less than Jesus' blood and righteousness. And I dare not trust the sweetest frame, but boldly lean on his name. On Christ, the solid rock, I stand. All other ground is sinking sand. Happy birthday, happy 100th birthday, Bishop Frederick Calhoun James. To God be the glory.
Happy birthday, Bishop Frederick Calhoun James. What a significant, momentous, awe-inspiring occasion to celebrate your 100 years of life. You are a living legend, a human library. As a poet, lecturer, historian, writer, orator, as a servant, your impact has been far-reaching. You are a centurion. Millions didn't make it, but you are one of the ones who did. And your service to Christ, church, and community will be long remembered. And so today I celebrate this joyous occasion with you and extend my love and best wishes.
We often walk through life wondering if what we do really makes a difference in the lives of others. Bishop Frederick Calhoun James, your life is a living illustration of God's service. As we move from decade to decade, we are still building on what you started. You realize that churches should not be silent, that we have an active role to play, not just in the civil rights arena, but in every facet of this community. Back when there was a question about fair and equitable housing, you stood tall. You formed the partnerships. You moved throughout the community to call for fairness and opportunity. So as we dance from decade to decade, we see the gains we have, but we still see there is work to do. We are forever thankful to you. But more than that, we are thankful to God for celebrating 100 years of Him placing you here on this earth. 100 years that has been filled with activity, drive, determination, God's love, and love for God's people. You, sir, are more than a community activist. You, sir, are more than a historian. You, sir, are more than a church man. You, sir, are a gift from God, and for that we are forever grateful. On behalf of the laity of the 7th Episcopal District here in South Carolina of this African Methodist Episcopal Church, we wish you a happy birthday. And we know that your life is a living illustration for us, but is a call to service for each and every one of us. We will honor God and honor you by continuing to do this work the Lord has called us to do. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Bishop Frederick Calhoun James. It is indeed an honor and a privilege to share just a few reflections of your life and incredible service in the African Methodist Episcopal Church. It seems to me that I've always heard of Bishop James. When I was 10 years old and I attended my first general conference, Bishop James was elected and consecrated the 93rd Bishop of our Zion. From there, we heard about his incredible work in Southern Africa and then the 12th Episcopal District. And then he came home to the state of South Carolina. I remember working with Bishop James on the Leadership Congress Committee, where I was just amazed by his incredible capacity and attention to detail. We also worked together closely in 1987 as we celebrated the 200th anniversary of our Zion here in Charleston, South Carolina. From there, he continued his tireless advocacy on behalf of his beloved alma mater, Allen University. The work he began there many years ago still resonates today. As a young adult, I moved to Columbia, South Carolina, and guess what? I joined Chapel Memorial AME Church, where Bishop James had been a former pastor. His work and the legacy that he leaves there continues even until this day. All of his service has been intentional. All of his service has been phenomenal. Bishop James has made an impact on the church, and now he is privileged to celebrate 100 years. The Lord is good. Happy 100th birthday, Bishop Frederick Calhoun James.
Hey, CJ.
Hey, Dr. Jenkins, how's it going?
Everything's going great. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. Listen, that music you were listening to?
Yeah.
OMG, I love Stevie Wonder.
Oh, you're a fan?
Absolutely.
Oh, fantastic. Me too.
Listen, that's the birthday song. Happy birthday song. Tell me whose birthday it is.
Well, today is the birthday of Bishop Frederick Calhoun James. Have you ever heard of him? Do you know who he is?
Have I heard of him? You mean the 93rd elected and consecrated bishop of the African Methodist Episcopal Church? Yes, I've heard of him.
Okay, well, that is correct. Well, today is his 100th birthday.
Wow.
That's right, and that makes him the oldest living Methodist bishop in the world.
Oh, man. Okay, yeah, that is cause for a party. Listen, do you have any glasses you can put on?
I do. Well, let me go ahead and put these on then.
Oh, yeah. It's time for a party
It's
now.
time for a party. So, listen, when we think about Bishop Calhoun James and all of his accomplishments, if you could say anything to him today, what would you say?
Well, first off, I'd tell him thank you so much for his dedication, his commitment, and his 24 years of active service as an AME bishop. That's cause for a celebration too.
It is definitely cause for a celebration. So for us here at Kids Corner, we would like to wish you a happy birthday.